All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Walrus and Comic Wrestling Report. Brett, I can honestly tell you, after watching WrestleMania Backlash, for the first time in probably since the Attitude Era, am I excited to see what happens on Raw tomorrow night?
Yeah, they finally ended the show the right way. We'll get to it eventually, but I thought this is one of the best ways I've ever seen Roman Reigns. Jesus Christ!
And I'm gonna save a lot of we have so much to talk about that match because I have very high opinions of it. But overall, the card minus one match, which wasn't even a match. The whole card, top to bottom,
was so good.
I give this if I'm rating this out of a scale of 100, I give this an 87.
Yeah.
And 13% of it's taken off because of one stupid decision by the WWE.
Yeah, because of a match
you know what? I want to. Let's just start off with that match because I want to get that out of the way because I'm tired of it. See, here's what makes me mad about the WWE, and the rest I'm going to sing a lot of praises after this. But what makes me mad is you took two wrestlers who are phenomenal workers, The Miz, Damian Priest, and you said, you know what? We don't really care. Yeah, we don't care how good you can wrestle. We're going to make some money for Peacock here, and we're going to promote this new movie or show that's coming out, Army of the Dead, because our boy Batista's on it. And you know what? You're going to like it. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to just do whatever you have to do.
And we're going to pretend zombies are around the ring.
Oh, my God. The announcers for this match. Oh, my God, they're invading. What's happening?
The announcers in general, I haven't watched an event in a while. And I told you during the first match, we got halfway through the first match. And I asked you, have they added anything for you during this match? Because I realized halfway through the match, I said, man, I haven't heard a damn thing. These announcers have said this whole time. I have not listened to them. They have not added, for me, anything to this match. They have not made it more interesting.
So, Brett, for me, a lot of times I find myself not even listening.
No, I don't even hear them.
I kind of focus in on what's happening in the match, and I get real excited. And sometimes in my head, I'm announcing it, so it sounds a lot better anyways. But I don't know. I thought the only match that was announced good, was the last match.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And I thought they did great. I think Pat McAfee
did a good job.
I think he has a great future in wrestling announcing.
Not
if he
Cole.
Wants it.
I mean, Cole did all right. Pat McAfee was the driver of everything good.
Yeah.
Announcing wise in the main event, I thought.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things right now is they're just lacking on the announcer side. I just think they actually went all in and tried to get Tony Schiavone.
Announcing sucks.
You know that, right?
I didn't know.
They went all in and tried to get Tony to WWE. And AEW, he felt better about going to AEW.
I would have too.
And I think he was taking less money going to AEW.
I mean,
and
who wouldn't feel better about AEW than WWE?
I know. But you know what? Let's focus on this show. Let's focus on the WWE here.
Okay, let's go.
Because I think we have a lot of really good building blocks to go off of. So we'll talk about the
but before we get into the first match too, I want to stop you one more time. This is the first event I had seen on Peacock.
Yeah.
And I thought it interesting, the first time commercials came up, that you pay, is it $5 or $10?
I pay $10 for the ad-free version of Peacock, and it's $5 if you want ads with it.
So let's say you pay your $10.
Yeah.
You are paying $10 a month just to not have your commercials in the middle of your matches.
Yeah.
That's what you're paying $10 for.
Exactly.
On Monday nights and Thursday nights, we cut your matches right in the... We wait until a match starts to play a fucking commercial every single week. Pay me $10 and I'll give you a commercial after the match.
Listen.
That's what you're paying $10 for?
I get it. You know, they're going to get some of their advertisements, and even you might not remember this, but even on later WWE pay-per-views, they had already been doing that. After matches, giving you some of the different things that are going on or the different sponsors they have. It's okay. I didn't take huge offense to that. What I did take offense to was wasting the talent of The Miz and Damian Priest to shove a movie down my throat.
Yeah,
that I don't even care about. Now the zombies, they did look good, right? They were high quality in 4K. What are we doing? We're having a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And that was not a wrestling match. And although I called the winner, Damian Priest, I said he was going to win. You were pretty much in agreement with me, or you didn't really care about that match beforehand per se. I really wanted to see Johnny Nitro turn on The Miz, and I guess it's not happening yet. But it kind of blows me away with what. I don't know how to explain it, to be honest with you, but like it's a waste of talent and a waste of a match there, Brett.
Oh no, I was sick of it. I played Gallagher during the thing, and I didn't notice what was going on.
Yeah, and I was kind of upset when you went to the Gallagher Machine because I was like, man, you're kind of we're losing out here. Some opportunity to take some really good notes mentally, but that match had nothing.
No, when I saw the zombies, when I realized, oh, the zombies are the lumberjacks, I turned on the machine. I was like, I'm not watching this shit.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about. Let's go to a match that actually had some meaning, and I thought that was actually pretty well done.
Way to open the show.
Yeah. Why don't you start with that one?
It started off with a women's triple threat match. We got Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Asuka.
Rhea. Love you.
Now, in the interest of fairness,
okay,
we talked about how attractive the women in this match were.
Very attractive.
Very attractive. And we talked about who we thought was the most attractive, which I said Asuka.
And I say Rhea Ripley.
And in the interest of fairness, I will also tell you the most attractive male was Drew McIntyre. There we go. Now we're being fair.
I'd have to agree with you. Drew McIntyre was the most attractive male on the show.
Can't go with just women. We gotta give.
But I will say
equal pay here on
my girl Ripley here was just standout type of gal today. But I will say this, Charlotte Flair, that makeup was popping tonight, and I thought she looked more like a normal person versus like a cartoon version of her dad.
Her cheekbones look like guillotine.
Yeah.
Like she could just cut your limbs
imagine
off.
Getting a chop with the...
You imagine trying to put her in a crossface?
Oh my gosh. It would sink in perfectly.
You couldn't. It would just... You cut your hands off.
Man, she's, you know what, though, like, we give her a lot of hard crap. And I know she's a legacy, and I know she's been given a lot of stuff by the WWE, like such as titles. But I'm going to tell you this, she's a worker.
Yep.
She does work. She puts on phenomenal matches. You can't take that away from her. She's a really big part of why the women's division is the best women's division in the world. I'm telling you, there's no other wrestling promotion that hasn't won anywhere near as close. And it, to this date, has been better than watching the men's matches.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, this card, it got me going good.
My only problem with the match was we could have done with one or two less double suplexes.
One or two less double. All right. So you're not a big fan of the opponents teaming up to take out the dominant person?
No, that's fine. It's just they did it I think they did it a couple extra times.
They did one off the turnbuckle.
And I think they suplexed her twice in the ring.
Was it twice in the ring? I don't even remember counting once.
Okay, well if it was only once,
I think it was only like 2 times we saw that double suplex. I could be wrong though. We'll have to go back. I usually go back and rewatch these anyways the day after, but we're doing this like fresh after watching the match, guys. And because we want to get this out here to you so you can watch it and you can respond and you can talk about things you liked or disliked about it. This match though was match of the night for me up until the main event. I thought opening this up, so we think typically...
It was going to be hard to beat. It was a tone set.
Yeah. And typically what we're used to with WWE is pre-2014, the opening match is a throwaway match, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one that you don't particularly care about. But when the Wyatt family and the Usos started getting together as the opening matches for like WrestleMania and stuff, we started seeing a little turnaround where you wanted your tone set a little better. Well, this match opening up, I was like, man, like, why is this match opening up? This is going to be a great match. These are 3 great workers. Rhea Ripley's awesome in the ring. Asuka's amazing in the ring. Charlotte Flair does her thing every time she steps in the ring.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this has a good chance. You made the comment while watching this pay-per-view was that there was just too many triple threat matches for you. And I get this, and I get that feeling, but I go back to saying this is the first pay-per-view after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And you got to set up your feuds for the next few months, right?
Yeah.
And what better way than taking a match like this where you don't want Rhea Ripley to pin Charlotte, because I think we all know Charlotte's going to win the title off of Ripley. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
All right? But you didn't want Rhea pinning Charlotte here, okay? So, all right, she pins Asuka. Take Asuka out of the picture. Vince McMahon doesn't really like her anyways. You know, great worker, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't care. Hell in the Cell comes up next as a pay-per-view.
Right.
You have Rhea versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte's typically amazing. They'll put them in the cell.
Yeah.
Because Charlotte's wrestled in the cell before. Ripley is going to give her a chance to put a lot more of aggression out there, even though I don't know who the babyface is there, because Ripley's been the antagonist lately.
Yeah.
And are you going to tell me you're going to flip her to baby right away?
Yeah, Ripley has to be.
But you can't see Charlotte as I can't see her as a baby.
That's what I'm saying. It has to be Ripley.
Yeah. So it's going to have to. I just don't like that flip there at all. But they'll probably put them in Hell in a Cell together, and you're going to see them tear down the house there. Ripley will win, okay? Mm-hmm. And then whenever you go into the next pay-per-view, is that Survivor Series? I don't know what the next pay-per-view actually is, and we didn't set up an additional camera or additional computer to kind of look at things while we're doing this. But whatever the next one is, I think you see Charlotte Flair win the title off of her.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then that feud is going to continue on until WrestleMania of next year, where you either put it back on Ripley or you keep it on Charlotte and you bring out someone else like Sasha Banks to fight her again, or if you're ready to put Bayley up there again. But obviously Bayley's on a different show, and it's kind of hard to keep up with who's on what show. I want to talk to you about something. There's a question you posed to me the other day when we were talking on Facebook. And what was the question you asked me?
About the world champion?
Yeah.
Are you more of a fan of when there's 2 brands, would you rather have a world champion for each brand or just a world champion of your company?
All right, so I'm not a fan of double brands. I'd rather it be one company, one title, and all that stuff.
Me too.
But if you're going to have it separate, I think you have to have 2 champions. Or unless you want them working on both shows, right?
I think your champion works both shows.
Okay, listen, I respect that opinion. And this is something that I think the WWE itself debates over itself a lot, right? Because we'll see sometimes the 2 champions disappear.
Champion in the 70s and 80s, the champion went to every territory. Yeah. He was expected to be able to beat everybody in any territory. Whoever wanted it in any territory, he went. So your world champion, I can go to NXT, I can go to SmackDown, I can go to Raw, I can go anywhere and face anybody because I'm the guy.
I get that, right? But during those times, do you think there really was as many stars as there are now?
No.
I mean, you might have had 2 or 3, right? Here you have like 10 or 11, right? Like, I honestly like we have Bob.
Everybody needs a title.
I get that. So you have Bobby Lashley as a champion, right? Do you put him as a champion over Drew McIntyre? Do you put him as a champion over Braun Strowman? Do you put him over as a champion as Roman Reigns? Think of all these big time names you have in the company.
I got it.
So that's why they did it, right? Like that's how why they have it divided, because right now it really isn't an issue with getting talent in the WWE.
Yeah.
Right? We have talent there. Even though there's another company going on and they're bringing in they're doing the WCW method, okay? They're bringing in everyone they can that was released by the show, okay? And you know what? They're saying, "Hey, come in, we'll give you more creative freedom." Like, if you've watched Jon Moxley's development as a wrestler since coming to AEW, it'll blow your mind. Also, let me say this real quick. I think you would love this. Jon Moxley had a match this past Wednesday with a guy from New Japan Wrestling. who last time was on TNT was 21 years ago, where he was facing the Ultimo Dragon in WCW. I can't remember the guy's name, okay? And we can cover this show later. So that's the first match that opens up, right? The guy's in the ring waiting for Jon Moxley. And you have Jon Moxley who's being escorted by Eddie Kingston, which, let me tell you, Eddie Kingston is probably one of the best workers I've seen in a long time, okay? And so, like, they're walking because, Moxley comes through the crowd like he did, with the Shield.
Yeah.
Music hits, and it's not his normal music. It's his new song.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
What?
Wild thing. Dun,
Oh
dun,
my
dun,
God.
dun, dun. You make my heart. So it's like playing like the Major League type thing. The crowd went crazy. You had full capacity.
Yeah.
The crowd went absolutely nuts. The reviews online are absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is a fan of the song change.
That's fantastic.
And it was, when it happened, I didn't know it was going to happen, right? I didn't do any research. I wanted to let the show kind of happen to me. Because I was like, man, this is going to be a great show. And we need to review it. You need to watch it. We got to find a way to get you to watch it, even if you come over here and watch it with me. And because we got to talk about the show. It's out of this world. All right.
But as it stands right now, there are 2 women's champions.
Yeah.
And Bayley has her own thing going on, and Charlotte Flair is chasing Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. And so you have a lot of really good things going on there. And this is where I would like to see WWE utilize something like Clash of Champions, right? Where, like, we have all the champions wrestle each other, and let's unify the titles. Or let's have champion versus champion. The loser has to start all the way back at the end of the road, and that title for that show is now vacated. And there is some type of tournament or some type of way to decide it.
Okay.
What if you did Clash of the Champions before? What's the one they do with? It's not Hell in a Cell, but it's Elimination Chamber. What if you do Clash of Champions before that, and then Elimination Chamber, and then the champions who lose at Clash of Champions, like you do tournaments to decide who's in Elimination Chamber to wrestle for those.
We do tournaments.
Listen, I'm a fan of that. Could you imagine though? Like, all right, Bobby Lashley loses his title. He goes to the beginning of the road. Now the wrestling organization have to come up with who's going to be our next person, and you have a little tournament and a tournament, as you say.
Bro, we'll do tournaments, bro.
We put them all in Elimination Chamber, and you have your 5 people, and then boom, you get your new champion.
Bro, what if we made them box for real, bro?
Listen, bro, we should. That was a great angle, was it not? And yeah, so that's kind of how I look at those things with it. But I think there's a lot more creativity that can go on there. Let's talk about the second match on the show. And this was one that I thought was really well done. I thought the storyline was cool. Beginning of the night, during the kickoff show, Dominik is jumped by Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. And Rey Mysterio was going in as the father, 2v1. He was going to stand up for his boy. He was going to do it for him because Dominik wasn't cleared. And Rey's being a good father.
The story has been done now 1,000,001 times.
Okay, listen. But not with the father and son. You have to admit. What a great storyline.
And may I say,
okay, what are you going to say?
Dominik Mysterio.
I know where you're going with this.
Looks.
Don't say it.
Like an Applebee's waiter.
Oh no, you're going there.
Who keeps telling everybody he used to play tight end in high school.
I mean, listen. What do you want
from
the guy?
He does not look like a professional athlete. He does not look like he could. Would you like an extra ranch with that, sir?
I would actually like an extra ranch. Actually, I'd rather have blue cheese, but that's just me. Listen, Dominik Mysterio is blessed in the fact that his genes were ones that make him taller than his dad's, right? But you can obviously tell that Dominik Mysterio isn't a gym buff like everyone else, right? Like, he's not that same type of person who goes in and does the pumps the juice in his arms and starts lifting weights, right? Like, it's not him. I'm fine with the natural look, especially when you're going around working with your dad to make you a better wrestler. All right, we saw some great things with him and Seth Rollins, where Seth Rollins really did some good work with him and improved his skill. This match, I thought was really good. It's hard to have a good 2v1, right?
Yep.
You know, I think we can agree that 2-on-1 handicap matches are traditionally
Hard
terrible.
to do. Yeah, hard to do.
And I thought that, number one, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, who are, you know, amazing wrestlers.
Yep, can both work.
Rey Mysterio, amazing wrestler.
Yep.
All right. All three of them can work, and they did work during this. The move where Roode takes Mysterio and slides him out, like, of the ring into Dolph Ziggler's super kick blew my mind.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It was so great. It was well timed. The moves, like you had the combination moves with Roode and Ziggler, and they didn't take it too far, right? Like sometimes you just see people just mug the other person, right? They stayed in the ring a little bit. They did their heelish thing. They got out of the ring and kept refreshing. And then the build-up's happening, right? You're like, man, can Rey actually do this? This is like Rey versus the Giant in WCW. Like, is Rey going to pull off this 2v1?
And then, oh, wait a minute. His shift at Walmart is over and he's here.
Dun dun. Then Dominik Mysterio comes out when Rey's been beat up. He's like, tag me in, Father. Please, Dad, let me in. I'm ready to go.
You know what angle I thought was happening for a minute here? For just a split second, I thought, oh, God, because the way Mysterio's like, what are you doing here? I told you not to come out here. What are you doing
We've
here?
seen this 1,000 times.
They're going to beat him while he's asking him,
Yep.
why'd you come out here? Blah, blah, blah. He's distracted. He's going to lose.
I think they're going to do – so I think this is going to happen, right? That's how they're going to lose the titles. And it's going to set up Dominik versus Rey at WrestleMania. If Dominik wins, Rey Mysterio retires.
Good Lord.
That's going to be the send-off. I'm calling it right now. It is – what date is it? It is May the 16th, 2021. Next WrestleMania, Dominik versus Rey Mysterio. Loser.
Dominik retires him off.
Yeah, and Dominik retires his father.
Okay.
What a better send-off could you get? You know, like if you're going to lose a match at WrestleMania, wouldn't you rather lose to your son?
Yeah.
And then at that point, hopefully it propels his career forward.
True.
And that's what I'm
He's got to get a little bigger.
Let us know in the comments, do you see that happening? Or do you just think that they're going to ride this tag team title thing all the way to WrestleMania? They're going to like lose at WrestleMania and Rey Mysterio is going to retire. Is that the ending you see? Do you see them ending beforehand and just nothing of it happening? Let me know. Like, do you think I'm just full of crap and I don't know what I'm talking about? Which, I mean, quite possibly, I probably am full of crap right now. But I think that if I'm WWE and I'm planning it, that's how I do it. Dominik retires his father.
And does he need to get a little bit bigger?
Yeah, lift some weights. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, in the comments of the chat, tell us, how much do you think Dominik Mysterio bench presses? I say a good 205. I'll give him 205. I think that's a normal for a 24-year-old with no physical disabilities.
He could bench press Daniel Cormier at his lightest.
I mean, DC at 205 looks like he was still at 220. Okay,
Let's be honest. He did.
Okay, like 205 DC is still like plump. Okay, but yeah. So I give him 205 there. All right. So Rey Mysterio and his son Dominik win the titles after Rey Mysterio finally tags in Dominik. They do a couple moves together. Rey Mysterio does this dive, like it was like this dive through the ropes into Bobby Roode or Dolph Ziggler, into Dolph Ziggler, and flips him with like a hurricanrana into the guardrail, which was like a wild move. You need to go back and watch it if you weren't watching the show when it happened. And then Dominik Mysterio gets up, pays homage to his Uncle Eddie, which I guess at that point might have been his father Eddie if you go back to the storylines back in the day. Pays homage to him with the frog splash for the finish. 1, 2, 3. Your new champions, Dominik Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. And you know what? We called that match correct.
Yep.
And so we called that one correct. You called Charlotte.
I thought Charlotte was going to win.
Winning the match. I'm 3-0 at the point of matches we've talked about so far, Brett.
I thought Charlotte pinned Asuka and they went that way, but Rhea pinned Asuka and they're going
that way.
They're going the same way, but I thought it was
it's okay. I mean, and there's no worries about that.
And the tag match was a solid match. 3 good workers and a Dominik. It was a good match.
Yeah. I give that match probably I want to say a B-. I don't think it was C+.
good match.
I think it was a B-
That's a good match.
I'm not thinking it's B+. Okay, it wasn't close to an A.
No.
It was close to an A as a 2-on-1 match.
Yeah.
But inserting Dominik brings it more.
Brings it down. I'm not.
So I give it a B- there. I give the women's match. I give that a solid A.
Yeah.
Like not an A-, not an A+, a solid A. The Damian Priest fiasco was a negative F. Okay, an F- there.
I didn't beat the high score on that.
It was terrible. Yeah,
that's all I can tell you about the match.
Yeah. Next match, Bianca Belair versus Bayley. Okay. It was a solid match. You had Karen versus,
To me.
I'm glad you said that, Brett, because I was going to say, I'm a huge Bayley fan.
Like, even thinking about it, I can't remember much about it. It was just a match.
And I'm just going to say, I'm a huge Bayley fan. I'm not a huge, bad Bayley girl. I don't want Karen Bayley. I want long hair Bayley with her, I'm a hugger, type personality. Yep. Bring me her back. I know that she was trying for something new and fresh, but I think she's just one of those people that can't be a heel. I think they always got to be a babyface. And there's people like that in the wrestling world, okay? Bayley, come back to the light side of things, please. We want you back. This match was good. I actually had Bayley winning this match because I'm a Bayley fan. I didn't go with I didn't go with logic here.
I had Bianca win.
I think you had Bianca win this one, okay? I think we got even on this match here. And I went with Bayley because I'm a huge Bayley fan. I think she's a phenomenal worker. I think she's a better talker when she's a babyface. I think her stuff with Sasha Banks is out of this world. It's like those two together are phenomenal. And I think without Sasha Banks, I think it just makes it hard for Bayley to be a believable character.
Yep. And the match was where it should have been, buried in the middle of the card.
Yeah. It was the setup to one of the championship matches. Bianca Belair, listen, phenomenal wrestler, trained by Booker T, probably modeled after Jacqueline, right? Like to kind of make her look that bad behind type of personality. I love when she takes her weave and whips people with it. All right, that's one of the best things you'll actually ever see. And it's so loud, and it leaves like bleed marks. Yeah. Like it's great because she actually hits people with them. I felt like this match wasn't a title match. While I was watching it, I was like, this is a forgettable match. Not because the wrestlers are bad. I wasn't really invested in the storyline here.
Yeah, it was
And I don't think anything overwhelmingly crazy happened in it.
And the match was just okay. It was just an okay match.
Yeah. Like there was nothing bad with it. It's just like, man, you asked me to recall things that happened.
You got us from point A to point B. You didn't make any mistakes. You had a solid match, and then we moved on.
Yeah, then we moved on. And where does it go from here? I don't really know. But what I do know is, good job, ladies. Solid match. That's all I can really say about it. And I feel kind of bad, right? Like, I feel like I should. I'm a Bayley fan. I should know stuff.
It's just what it was tonight.
But it's just. Here's the thing. Sometimes there are matches on the card that are really good that you just don't remember because there was a couple matches that were out of this world.
That would just blow you down.
And you know what? We had a couple of those. The first women's match
was good,
and then the last title match. But before we go to the one we actually want to talk about,
and maybe the first women's match did overshadow this one.
Yeah, 100% did.
Because when you had a match that was as good as the opener was, and you're watching Bayley and Bianca Belair, it's just those two matches weren't the same.
No, and maybe
one was a killer and one wasn't.
Was it a star power thing? Was it just like the first women's match really just took the cake there? And I think it was the first women's match.
Yeah,
it was just that good. All right, let's talk about the the WWE Championship match. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman.
An old school heel triple threat match.
Oh, and listen, it was old school heel all the way because you didn't really see a lot of Bobby Lashley.
He was thrown through the screen.
Yeah, the electricity went off. Bobby Lashley's dead. He's not coming back. We'll see you later. And then Braun Strowman is doing his... Listen, Braun Strowman is a gosh darn worker. Like, he can do some crazy things in the ring for his size. And you know what? Him and Drew McIntyre were tearing down the house. But we got the old school swerve, bro. Bobby Lashley comes in, to claim his title back after doing very minimal work when Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman are tearing the house down.
Takes a night off and wins a match.
Yeah, man. The WWE is really involved with him. That's cool. I get it. I'm a fan.
But I think this is what you had to do.
Yeah.
Don't let these two touch each other. They're going to make your money down the road.
Put them in Hell in a Cell, man.
Like, the match isn't, you want to be able to sell tickets to Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. So what do? They don't kill each other tonight.
Yeah, they tease you.
You make sure they don't have any action tonight.
Yeah.
They had minimal action. Drew McIntyre throws him through the panel, and he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone until the end of the match. They didn't really touch each other. They didn't have any action. And those two on a poster, we're still waiting to see those two fight.
And you know the great thing was? The announcers didn't oversell it either.
Right.
They didn't oversell him being thrown through.
Right.
Like, they just kind of didn't talk about it. They went back to the action in front of you. And then, oh my gosh, there he is when Braun Strowman looked like he was going to win.
Yep, you saw Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman tonight.
Yep. And you know what? I'm fine with it.
Yeah, that's what you had to do.
I give this match, in retrospect, you looking at it, you're like, man, what else could they have done without, overdoing that actual match? And you know what? They did a good job.
I think they did what they needed to do. You're still trying to make that money with your two stars.
And
you had to have the triple threat. You had to have this match tonight. And you didn't let them do too much.
And you know what? Everywhere I'm reading says this match was much better than expected. And it's an A-level match.
I mean,
I'm looking at it right here.
But, it was Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman tonight.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah, which is...
That's okay, man. I get it. WWE, I get it. You know what? You have, and let's just be honest here. You have a black superstar athlete that you have one of your main belts on, and it's the first time since Booker T. Booker T, The Rock, and Ron Simmons are the standouts. Yeah. I would love to say Kofi Kingston, but his run wasn't crazy.
You can't compare him to the three we just named.
You can't compare him. And for the first time in many years, you have a black
Bobby
athlete
Lashley is that guy.
who's the man.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley.
You look at Bobby Lashley and you're like,
there's not many humans
that guy
could. Like Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, that guy could win any fight he steps into.
Yeah,
and we know that, and we believe that, and you know what?
And we've seen him do it. He fought on Spike TV on Bellator. We saw him do it.
Yep, and you know what? Hey man, kudos to you, Bobby Lashley. I've never not liked you. I haven't been a fan of Bobby Lashley.
I like when he was the United States champion in 2007.
Are you talking about whenever he was doing the things where it was him versus Umaga and they shaved Vince McMahon's hair off and Donald Trump was there?
Do you remember when they put him in a ladder match and he was deathly afraid of heights and could not climb the damn ladder?
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? Why are you gonna put the guy on a ladder?
Yeah, could not climb the ladder. I just remember him hugging the ladder, trying to go up it. Why is he in this?
Yeah, is exactly right. But you know what? I think I like the way they're billing him right now. I think they're doing a great job with him. I think he deserves this run. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you're ever going to bring Brock Lesnar back, I want to see him versus Brock. Yeah. That's the only match I want to see Brock Lesnar in.
And I know we have to, but I do not want to see fucking Suplex City. I want to see these two have a good wrestling match that I know they can have. Because these two could have a Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar type match. Yeah. These two could have a match, and I don't know if they would let Brock Lesnar do it, and I don't know why.
Yeah. And, Brett, here you go. Let's move on to the last match, because we're already going over what I thought here. Yeah. There was a lot more to talk about in this pay-per-view than I expected. Let's go ahead and move to the last match, because I could dedicate a whole episode just on this match. Woo! First off, WWE, thank you for allowing us to see the technical ability of Roman Reigns. Wow! First off, thank you for putting Cesaro in a match where he is able to elevate your biggest heel right now in wrestling.
And you had two in a title picture, in a main event, beating the hell out of each other and selling everything they did to each other.
You had the whenever Cesaro's elbow gets injured, he did a wonderful job after everything he did with that arm selling it. And you know what? You look at his arm and some of the close-ups they did. It looked like
they did a good job. They did a good job.
I mean, it was all busted up and bruised around there. It looked like it was torn off the thing, and you're like, man, like, is he actually hurt? And then one of the best things I've ever seen Roman Reigns do happens. He looks back at the camera and Paul and laughs.
Oh my God!
At this guy's arm.
The facials in this match from both men, but from Roman Reigns, the facials in this match.
Psychological, this match was a 10 out of 10.
I mean, they did everything right the whole way through.
Yeah. And you saw, sometimes watching people who aren't submission, like specialists, do submission moves is terrifying.
Yep.
And it's disgusting. It's just terrible. We had one instance where Roman Reigns just did not look comfortable in the triangle he was doing or whatever it was. And
he had one hook on his leg.
Yeah.
And he had one up on his back like he was going to put him in a body triangle. But it's like, I think I made the comment, you should teach him how to do a body triangle. But it looked awkward, but it was all right.
But then it transitioned into Cesaro, and the transition was beautiful. And then he gets on top.
The sound Roman Reigns makes
when he's put in
the sharpshooter sounds like he is being killed.
Yeah. And you know, like that for me, that's the sign of the type of a person like I think Roman Reigns is. He doesn't have to sell like that. He's a champion.
Yeah, and
he's the champ. He doesn't have to be put in that move.
And that's putting Cesaro over. Is like he is about to break my back.
Yeah, and then Cesaro even had the thing where like he couldn't hold that hold with his elbows. Yeah. He switched arms.
Couldn't hold the crossface.
You couldn't hold the crossface in. And there were some times where they put him when he puts him in the guillotine, right? And you're looking at it, it's a shot like Stone Cold and Bret Hart. And if Cesaro was busted open there, you have one of the most iconic shots since that point. I don't think the match needs blood. Okay, I'm not saying it needed blood.
No, correct me if I'm wrong here. I thought a couple of those elbows at one point in the match landed. And I thought because the referee had gloves on, I know he was Cesaro was already bleeding in a couple of places.
Yeah.
But when I saw, and let me know, anybody watching, if you thought the same thing. But I thought a couple of those elbows landed, and I thought, are they opening him up? Are they going to open him up? Are they going to hardway him? Yeah. Are they going to hardway him right now? I thought that's what he was trying to do. I thought he gave him a couple of elbows and couldn't do it, so they just moved on. But I don't know, maybe that's not what they were going for. Maybe I was wrong.
Hey, man.
But it looked like
But you know what? The elbows were sold in a way that you thought you were watching a UFC fight.
Yeah. I thought he was
everything was sold here.
I thought he was opening him. I was like, oh, wow, that's what we're doing. All right.
But I will never get over seeing the looks on Roman Reigns' face, the heelish looks like Cesaro is sitting up and Roman Reigns is behind him and he's just smiling and laughing and talking to Paul and talking to himself. And it's like, he got put over as a heel here. Like, I believe Roman Reigns is a bad guy now.
One of the only times in WWE in recent memory that in this match they did everything right.
Yeah.
The psychology, the selling, from start to finish was there.
And then let's get to the ending. Because I'm going to tell you, all right, so...
They keep Cesaro good. He doesn't tap.
Yeah. Cesaro does not tap.
He didn't give up.
He passed out.
Yep.
Then the best thing I've ever seen after a pass-out submission was the fact that he sold it like he was in the octagon and he just
didn't know what was going on when he woke up.
He went...
Grabbed the referee.
It blew my mind how much it looked like he prepared for this type of match. And listen, Roman Reigns gave me everything I needed to see.
Roman Reigns is so good.
He gave me physicality. He gave me technical moves. Mm-hmm. He gave me his powerful wrestling. He didn't, finally, he didn't go for 30 of the Superman punches. I mean, he went for like 2 or 3. I can live with 2 or 3.
I can live with 2 or 3. Especially with what he was doing in between them.
Yeah.
I can live with 2 or 3.
Yeah.
If you give me that kind of wrestling, go ahead.
Yeah.
Give me 2 or 3.
I was like, I didn't think it was a Superman party, right? Like, I was like, man, this is a great match. And the selling at the end of it, phenomenal. I give this match an A+. I told you this is how I thought it was going to go down. I told you, like I was off on one match, and that was a pretty dang good record. You were off by one match tonight. That's a pretty good record. You don't get that much a lot.
Yeah.
We were on it this time because WWE did what they were supposed to actually do.
Yeah.
And what happened after? And I had a friend message me. He's like, dude, like I don't understand. Are they burying Cesaro? Is his contract up? Like, what's happening? Those are legitimate questions, right?
Yeah.
My friend, you ask legitimate questions. But what happened is...
Legit heat.
Yeah, legit heat was put on here. First off, you had the Uso brother who's been trying to get... both of them... All right, one of them's been out with injury. The other one's been trying to get in the good side of Roman Reigns. What better way than to run down to the ring, put the little lay over him, and, acknowledge you're the head of the table. And then he's like, can I get him?
Yep.
Can I get him?
Yep.
And Roman's like, sure. Boom. Puts over heat. All right, Cesaro brings a lot of sympathy for him. He just had the match of his life. He came up short. He just woke up, and now he's getting the dog crap beat out of him. All right, so you're like, okay, I get it. Are you going to set up the other Uso brother coming down to stop it? No.
Yeah.
Who comes down? Seth freaking Rollins.
Yep.
Burn it down with his ridiculous suit. I'm not even going to talk about the suit. It was ridiculous. It's okay. Comes down.
Heat getter.
Yeah, good, really good heat getter. Smiles at Roman. Great thing. Moves right past him and starts taking him out. Now, why do they do this? Seth Rollins and Cesaro have one of the best WrestleMania matches on the card. Phenomenal match. And they're going to go back to it. It's not saying Cesaro's not worthy of a title, but it's really just putting heat on Seth Rollins to make you hate him more, to draw up the sympathy for Cesaro, so that match at Hell in the Cell that they're probably going to announce, unless it puts Cesaro out for a little bit, sets him up to come back a couple pay-per-views later, and makes that whole rivalry super fresh. That's one of two things that can happen with it. But it puts so much heat on Seth Rollins that it just puts him over. And you know what? The WWE has not ended a pay-per-view that well in as long as I can remember.
Here is what I will say to good observation, friend. Good question, friend.
Yeah.
I don't think it is a burial unless Cesaro doesn't get his back. But I think he will. As long as he gets it back, as long as he comes back tomorrow night or Thursday night or whenever he comes, as long as he comes back and beats the hell out of Seth Rollins one time, you're square again.
Yep.
Because he had just been through a match, he had just got guillotined out, he had just woken up when Jey Uso started beating on him, then Seth Rollins comes out and starts beating on him after he's had two other people beat on him. No, I don't think it does anything bad to him unless he doesn't get his back, which I think he will probably this week.
Yeah, unless they're going to go with the injury angle and keep him out for a couple months and bring him back.
Well, as long as, and I don't mean this week, when he gets back, as long as he gets his on Seth Rollins, it wasn't a burial.
Yeah, and listen, like I said, best ending to a WWE pay-per-view in a long time.
Yep.
100%. I remember we sat here and we watched all this together, and Brett hasn't watched a live pay-per-view with me ever. And like most of the times, it's like he'll watch it 3 days later and watch the first match and the last match. And so this is like a miracle in itself. He watched all of them all the way through. But I can honestly say, like, as much as I talk, like, how I kiss the tail of Vince McMahon and the WWE, and a lot of people, that I'm making it up as we talk, I can honestly say this is the best pay-per-view I've watched in a long time.
Good pay-per-view.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you. Tell us, what was your favorite match on the card? For me, it was the last match.
Main event was beautiful to me.
All right, so for Brett and I, it was the last match.
The main event was as beautiful as Drew McIntyre.
Is there a match on... Yes, the main event is as beautiful as Drew McIntyre. Is there another outcome you would have liked to see on any of the matches you watched today? To let us know. You just say, hey, I think it should have went like this.
And do you think it was a burial, or what needs to happen so that it isn't a burial for Cesaro?
Yeah. Or is it just generally...
I mean, a lot of things. Just give us your thoughts in the comments. What did you feel watching Backlash? What did you think now that it's over?
So
Where do you think they're going?
I give Backlash an 87 out of 100, which gives it a B+
And
rating.
the Lumberjack match took 13% from me.
That's right. That's right. Let us know. How about you?
What do you think? And we will be back with a swift review of Raw. Or will we do Raw or will we do the week at the end of the week?
I almost feel like we should do the week at the end of the week.
The week at the
that
end
way
of the week?
we don't put too much pressure on ourselves.
There you go.
And then we can also maybe talk about maybe doing an AEW podcast show with it. So,
I hear you.
ladies and gentlemen, would once again like to say thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button. You share it with all your friends and families. If they like wrestling, they're going to love this podcast. Once again, leave us some comments at the bottom. Brett here will personally answer every single one of them, no matter how ridiculous it is. So once again, thanks for watching.